I feel like our personalities will jive with them, but because they actually shared their results, it's confirmed.
Confirmed.
It's confirmed that we will get along pretty well.
Yeah, and they're individual MBTIs. They're a good match for each other.
Yes, within their group.
Nothing like too extreme, not bad, not perfect, but they're all good for each other.
But we're perfect.
Yeah.
So, the next time you're in the Bay Area, SB19 boys, we invite you to hang out with us.
Sure.
It will be fun. We'll just leave the invitation open.
Wow.
We'll leave the door open. You can just come in.
Hi,
we're
Jose Smile.
I know that SB19's podcast is atin-atin lang. It means just between us. But I feel really bad for our international 18, and so we want to include them.
And so we welcome them to have a conversation with us. They took an MBTI test. MBTI stands for Myers-Briggs Type Indicator, I think. They took basically this personality test, which is a very famous test. So Pablo, Josh, and Ken,
they're all the same.
They had all the same results of INTJ. Justin had an INFJ, I think. And then Stell was the only ENFJ.
Obviously, Stell is the E.
Yeah, E for extrovert.
When they were talking about it, and Pablo asked if they believe the test,
right,
and Stell said he does not.
Para siyang sigurong parang horoscope na parang hindi ka naniniwala pero pwede mo siyang gawing guide.
He said because he took it before and then he changed some of his answers now because personalities change, right? And he said he still got the same results. But I feel like it can be like 90% extrovert or 65%, so there's a difference. So I feel like that's it.
It also depends on the time, basically, because it's all about your experiences, and they talked about a lot of their experience. So for example, for me, I used to be like Stell. Now I've changed to ENFP now, so it's kind of very close to each other, but I did change over time.
They talked about meeting friends and they want friends with the same vibe.
Gusto kasi namin yung parang yung parang normal na tao yung touring sa amin. Ayaw namin ng superstar treatment kasi sobrang off talaga.
Naturally, I can imagine like if people treat you differently, even if it's in a positive way, it can feel awkward. Another question that was asked was whether you cry when you see people cry.
So I think Stell was saying that he used to a lot. Like, he would cry when people are crying or something like that. I think, but just through his experience, because he's gone through a lot of tough times or a lot of things, he's now just tougher.
Pablo mentioned that when he sees a person cry, he feels so awkward. He doesn't know what to do. Like, he's like, because some people, he said, wants to be comforted, but some wants to be left alone, so it's very awkward for him.
But it just speaks to his personality, because like for me, my initial reaction is the comfort.
Same. That's like a very considerate part on his side. Like he's thinking what this person might want, but you wouldn't know. You cannot guess. So that's why
it's not to say that me wanting to comfort is the right solution either, because
it's just your personality, and it's just my personality.
And Pablo's right, because if I try to comfort somebody that doesn't like to want to be comforted, then that would be really bad as well, right? So it's just my personality.
Instead of helping, you're not.
Exactly.
Another thing they talked about was whether or not you make backup plans.
Not just backup plans, they asked whether or not you make a backup plan for your backup plan.
Lagi akong may backup plan kasi as an overthinker, parang inisip ko, paano pag Paano pag ganito? Paano pag ganyan? Kaya lagi kong nagba-backup plan.
Lagi akong may backup plan din naman. Kasi mas din ako eh. Kumbaga, same siguro sa'yo, medyo overthinker din ako. Full on what if din ako. What if. And gaya ng sabi rin ni Stell, pag hindi nag-work, minsan pag wala ng choice, kailangan kong ipilit. Parang ganun din. Or may time din na parang okay, wag na lang talaga.
And then Josh said with his games.
Ako, kaya siguro lagi may backup plan kasi parang since may love sa video games, laging you have to parang may worst case scenario lagi.
And then with his life too, because he had the most struggle
That's true.
in
for me
life.
as well. Yeah, basically through what he went through in life, he knows that not everything goes the way you plan it to. And that's what we mean about like all these, your personalities is a result of your life experiences,
yes.
right? And so Josh was a really, really good example that he kept mentioning about what he went through and to explain why he's like that.
Yes. They also talked about how they deal with pressure. I forgot the actual question, but under pressure, and Justin said, this is why I make a lot of plans because he doesn't work well under pressure.
Yeah.
And Pablo mentioned that
Kaya nagre-roll kasi may ng kapatid ko. Pag normal lang sa akin yung pag wala sa tono, mga ganyan ako. Pero sa kanya, ulitin nga natin yan. Alam ko mali yan. Parang ganun siya yung reaction niya. Parang positive reaction siya. Pero nung naranasan ko sa group, parang hindi pala ganun. Yung normal na reaction ko, parang, oh my God, na parang hindi pala nakakatulong. Lalong nakaka-down.
I think Josh was talking about like, no, but that's just him, you know.
Yes.
It's just about him. That's how he does things.
But I feel like as a group, they already know each other. Like they know that when Pablo does that, they know now not to take it personally. It's just how he is.
Yeah.
So
And
that's
Justin
good.
talked about how I don't know when he was in school, so I'm assuming either college or high school, that he would do things really, really early because he doesn't want to be in a position where there's a lot of pressure, a lot of stress. So he would do things really early.
He is an honor student.
There you go.
Meanwhile, Ken is very chill.
Sige, kalmado lang.
Kalmado naman yun.
Kalmado ako. Most of the time, kalmado
Oh my God,
lang.
late na ako.
Parang, home si
Oh my God.
Kanina nga.
Sabi niya, oh my God, late na ako. Maliligo na ako.
But I also like when Stell mentioned that
Si Sir Rain, alam mo yung kahit may problem, parang siya, wait, gagawa natin ng paraan. Ganon siya lagi. So nung nakita ko, nung nakita ko yung sabi ko, ang ganda namang ano nun, ang ganda namang i-practice sa sarili.
and it's actually nice because when you see something that you think is good and you try to improve yourself, that's really nice. That's good growth.
Pinaka-compare ko kasi lagi sa kung ano yung napagdaanan na dati nga hindi kami kumakain. Parang gano'n. Kung dati nga wala kami pag-practicean, gano'n. So, medyo chill na ngayon. Yung parang naiisip ko na kahit pa paano ngayon, it's not that bad.
One of the other questions they talked about is whether how rare or how often are you in making an effort to make new friends, right? So one of the things that stood out to me was the only E in the group, right? Was Stell.
Ako, pagka may bagong tayong nakakilala, syempre nga, obligado tayong, hi, I'm Pablo, I'm ganyan, papakilala tayo. Pero ako kasi yung klase ng tao na pag may bagong kakilala, syempre kakausapin mo. Pero at the same time, yung mga taong kakilala ko na, syempre, kakausapin ko pa din. I mean, parang kasi nga dahil nga super friendly ako, parang balance talaga.
You know,
That's why he's everyone's
direction.
best friend.
Yeah. And Justin and Ken were basically agreeing with him that that's his personality type.
Opposite kami ni Stell ang ugali. Si Stell very shine bright like a diamond.
Wow.
Ako naman parang,
Sa industry natin, no, parang requirement siya, no?
Oo.
Parang
requirement
kahit minsan,
talaga.
Sa
alam mo,
totoo,
pagod na pagod ka na mag-smile, pagod na kumausap.
but still you have to. Kasi
you have to.
pakikisama sa mga tao, no? Ganun.
Actually, I kind of feel bad because Pablo kept saying he didn't have
Pablo
friends.
kept saying he doesn't have a lot of friends.
Di ba, hindi naman ako lumalabas masyado ng bahay. Tapos, yung mga kaibigan ko, bilang lang talaga sa kamay. Alam mo,
Ano yung traits
sa
nila?
totoo lang, kayo lang yung kaklose ko ngayon. Hindi, promise, wala ako masyadong kaklose na tao.
They're introverts,
Yeah.
and so they
So
just
they-
really need a handful of friends. The other thing that stood out to me was Justin.
Relatives dito, yung mga tita ko sa ibang bansa. Pag imi-meet ko, gusto ko sana isama si Stell.
Si Stell, oo,
Kasi hindi ko alam kung anong sasabihin ko sa mga relatives ko. Parang si Stell, kaya niyang makipag-converse with everyone. Na-enjoy niya. Parang win-win situation.
And it's a win-win situation.
But I admire how Justin actually makes an effort. He said something about having a conversation starter.
Yeah.
But Justin said, even if he's not comfortable approaching people,
Ang nangyayari madalas, sila yung kumakausap sa akin.
Malapit na to.
Kasi nagtasmile, lagi naman ako nakasmile, nagtingin lang ako, pero
Pero ako, wala lumalapit sa akin kasi lagi daw ako nakasimangot. Parang,
Kasi intimidating ka kasi.
parang lagi daw galit ako yung itsura ko.
Kasi naman yung the way ka
Facial
tumingin.
features was good.
The way naman kasi tumingin si Pablo, di ba?
and then they're all teasing him. Stell said, because your face is always like this.
Yeah, always looks
So at the
grouchy.
chod.
Right? Ken was teasing Stell, right? Because he's really good at that.
Yeah.
Like, he has a lot of his shows and everything like that. He's always right. So he's really good at it. But Stell also said that sometimes, I don't know if he said he used the word backfire, but sometimes he said that it kind of is a bad thing.
Sa mga experiences ko, lahat ng mga kinuklose ko nagugulat or parang napapagod sa akin. Kasi parang
Energy mo up top.
oh, parang nakakapagod ka naman kasama. Laging ganun yung nakuha ko. Pero hindi ko siya tinatanggap as negative kasi at the end of the day, sinasabi naman nila na next time gusto ko ulit kasama si Stell kasi ang saya, parang ganun.
Because he's super happy and
Yeah,
active, and
because they
their
don't have
energy
the
is
same
always
energy.
high. Yeah, exactly.
Another thing they talked about was cutting ties with friends.
Yeah.
And they all agreed, us too, right? If there's toxic people in your life, you should cut them out.
Honestly, medyo mga recently nga, marami ako na-experience na parang, may mga tao pa rin nagsasalita behind my back na hindi nila alam, nakaka-affect na pala ng malaking part sa buhay ko. And pero syempre, para sa ikabubuti ko, I would move on with my life. And of course, kung okay naman, wala naman na-apektuhan na iba, at kung nag-agree naman kayo pareho, di ba, magkano lang kayo. We go on with your own, na lang.
You know, it's interesting, right? Because they're much busier now.
May mga iba akong, mga friends na parang, ang sinasabi nila, parang,
Bago ko na.
parang, porket
Nagbago ka na.
porket artista ka na, kinalimutan mo na. Yung word na kinalimutan. Well, in fact, ang sinasabi ko sa kanila, hindi naman sa nakalimutan kayo. Parents ko nga, bihira ko na lang ma-message. Tapos, kayo, ini-expect nyo makapag-reply pa ako.
I feel like if there's toxic people around you and you're gonna waste time and energy trying to explain yourself to them, it's not worth it.
And people, like we talked about, right? People change, their personalities change.
You
And-
grow apart sometimes.
Sometimes
That's
you grow
okay
apart, and
too.
that's okay.
You can go your way, I wish you well, and then I'll go my way. I feel like that's how it should be.
Ken had a really good story that he said that
Yes.
when he goes to the province,
Diba? Pag umuwi ako sa amin, 3 years ako din nakakaway, pero pag umuwi ako sa probinsya, yung closeness namin ng friends ko, never nagbago.
Like,
they still
nothing
bully
changed.
him with the words and stuff like
Because
that.
that's how friends
That's-
should be.
exactly.
Like, nothing's changed.
Yeah.
And Justin asked, how can you say a person is already your friend? and
Ah,
not just
right.
an acquaintance?
That was a good question. Yeah.
I feel like we all have that not so nice side, right? But most of the time you hide it. But when it's a true friend, you're very comfortable to bear everything, knowing that you won't be judged. That's how I measure it.
My bar for friendship is, I think, lower. Like I don't, because I think there's a range of friendship for me where some people are just like, my comfort level with friends just changed. Like my best friend, I mean, we've traveled together many times. We've invited each other, to our houses. Our wives talk to each other. But then I think that I have some friends where, I'm pretty cool with their spouses, but I want to travel with their spouses, that kind of thing. So there's a level. Oh, Pablo is ridiculous.
Iutot ka ba sa harap ng nung acquaintance mo na?
So yun ang patunay.
Yun ang
Malalaman mo na
patunay.
kaibigan mo siya pag okay lang umutot sa
Oo,
harap.
pag
Tama.
Pag nautangan mo na.
Pag
Pag
nahihiya ka
okay
pa.
ka nang, pag nahiya ka, hindi pa kayo friends talaga.
And I don't disagree with that to a certain extent, right? If you're really like your level of comfort, if you're comfortable, like, partying in front of your friends, I think those are true friends. Justin's
that
question
was
about like
Josh.
what is the level of, when do you know that
When
you're
you
your
know,
friend,
yes,
right? And
yes,
Josh
yes.
said it's different for each other, right?
Meron din yung iba, pag na-friend ka na, feeling niya, friend ka na kayo. Pero ikaw, feel mo, hindi mo siya friend. May ganun eh. Kasi hindi mo naman, yung iba talaga naturally, yung personality nila, uy, magkaibigan kami, ganyan, ganito. Kasi yun yung feeling niya na-receive niya. Pero yung sa'yo, may ganito yung boundaries mo.
I remember Trevor Noah said something about that. He's also a public figure, and he said it feels so weird when he's outside and people would call him and act like they know each other, like they're friends, like, hey, Trevor. And he's like, I find that so weird. But his little brother actually told him, you're the one who's weird because you talk to them every day on your show. So the public feels like they know you enough to consider you as friends. So you're the weird one
I see.
thinking that they're weird. So I feel like same with SB19 and all other celebrities.
You see them all the time.
Yes.
You hear them talk. You hear them sing.
we
you see a lot of them.
We know
right?
so much about them, their
uh-huh.
personalities, that we feel like they're our friends, but naturally they don't know.
Yeah,
They
naturally.
don't know the fans, so they don't consider us friends. But when they're outside and people act like they're friends with them, they should understand.
Yeah.
Pablo also likened friendship with their relationship with the public. And then he mentioned something about cancel culture.
Right.
Parang naisip ko lang din sa atin as public figure. Di ba may mga cancel culture nga? Parang in a way kasi friendship din yan with the public. Kumbaga, let's say, syempre, kailangan lagi tama yung ginagawa mo. Pero parang naisip ko lang na parang sobrang toxic din pala nun. Kasi, syempre, di ba, kuwari, lahat naman tao nagkakamali, may nagagawa na hindi nila alam kasi hindi sila nag-guide. Tapos, pag may nagawa kang mali, parang automatically cancel ka sa mga tao. Parang cut ties ka sa mga tao. So, parang gusto ko lang din bigyan ng light yung cancel culture na parang
Give chance.
parang give chance din sa mga tao na hindi naman tayo, lahat naman tayo nagkakamali.
I agree with this position around cancel culture. I think it's too much of an extreme where you make a mistake and that's it for you, right? So I think he talks about like, hey, as friends, we can make mistakes, we can forgive each other, and that should be okay. Especially knowing now their personality types, that they're mostly introverts.
Yeah.
So they do a pretty good job, right? During the during the concerts and the meet and greets. You wouldn't think they're necessarily like introverts. Well, some like Ken. Ken was very.
Ken
obvious.
is very. I feel like they're all introverts, but I feel like Ken is on the higher percentage, and the others are on the lower percentage.
I wouldn't have guessed actually that Pablo was an introvert, but now it makes sense. There was a comment from Stell where he said that for some people,
Aminin nyo, meron talagang isang tao na kahit hindi nyo pa siya nakakausap, hindi nyo pa siya nakakasama, nakikita nyo palang ayaw mo na agad sa kanya.
Meron.
Di ba?
I think we all have that. You feel like I'm not gonna get along with this person.
but based on what? Just their face?
Based on your observation on how they act.
Yes, okay. I get it now. When like you've seen them interact with other people or you've heard about them from yes, right.
But then again, me personally, I'm a victim of people misjudging me. I've been misjudged a lot because I'm maarte, like very girly, and I don't know why it has a negative connotation on some people. Like, just because I'm maarte doesn't mean I'm not nice.
It's a first impression kind of thing. And it doesn't always last.
Yes.
Right?
I feel like it's the same on the opposite side. Like, you feel like you're gonna jive well, but find out that you don't.
Yeah, I think for me, it's when I don't like it when people have too much of a strong opinion. I don't mind opinions. Sharing opinions is a good conversation. But when you have a strong opinion about everything,
I
like
agree.
an extreme.
That's one of my things too. They were talking about, like, if you know that your friend doesn't want to be teased about this kind of thing, you have to respect that and stop.
Yeah.
And so they asked Justin.
Pero ikaw ba, Justin, pag sinasabi namin corny yung joke, okay lang sa'yo?
Parang naka-compliment nga ako eh. Sa tingin ko.
Yeah, he actually thinks it's a compliment. He smiled and everybody laughed. And they talked about how Pablo even said it's actually iconic of Justin. It wouldn't be Justin if he doesn't say corny jokes.
And for every concert, people already expect and wait for those corny jokes. And then the last question was, what is a trait that you don't like about each other?
And Pablo started first ask, what do you guys
don't
like about me?
And they're saying there's a lot. Just one trait that you don't like about me. And Josh is like, okay,
I have one.
First. And then it stopped.
Yeah, it left us a major cliffhanger.
And then the podcast ended
major cliffhanger.
Yes.
Overall impression about the podcast or this first podcast?
I like that it's very informal. I like that they seem to be very candid about it.
Yeah, it's very raw, very candid is a good word. So I really, really appreciate that. So and so I think a lot of 18s are very like appreciative about this, and also kind of wanting this to be taken in the context that it's been given, right? Because they're being raw here. They're sharing a lot of things.
Yes.
A lot of things that people may not have known. Like there's a lot of things that we didn't know about. Like for example, Pablo and Ken almost having a fight.
Yeah, I didn't know.
Naalala ko bigla, alam ko na yung trigger point ko, yung turning point ko kung kailan ako nagbago ng ugali. Yung muntik na kami magsunto kay Ken.
Bukasan
Pagbalik
yan
na
ang-
pagbalik ko sa
Sorry.
pagbalik ko sa office, nabasok. Men, sorry. Kasag. Okay na.
Sabi sa akin ni Pablo, Stell, nag-usap tayo sa labas. Labas kami office. Sabi niya, sorry.
Pero that's the best thing you can do to para
Alam mo, minsan, sobrang hirap gawin nun. Alam mo, nakakaya.
sobrang hirap gawin.
Pero after kong gawin yun, I'm free. Ganun, free.
Takes a lot of courage
Sabi
din
ko,
para magawa yung mga ganung bagay.
nanginginig tuloy ako ngayon. Nakalala ko na naman.
We don't know about that. So things like that. So people, rightfully so, the 18s don't want to have anything they said taken out of context. Right? They kind of want to protect them. We want to protect them, right? So, but I really appreciated the candidness, the rawness of what they're sharing here, and I hope that it doesn't get taken out of context because I want to hear more about this. It's really nice.
Thank you for sharing all those
Yeah.
stories with us, and I'm really hoping they would do like an English translation
Subtitles.
for
It's
18.
tough though. I don't know how to do it.
I
but
can
because-
do it.
Oh,
I
wow,
think
that's a
I
lot
can.
of work. The point is, it's not for us, right? Because we can understand it
Yeah.
fully. But we do know that in the comments and a lot of the people that watch us, our videos, there are a lot of international 18s that really want to understand
Yes.
what they're talking
And I
about.
really want to include them in the conversation.
This is why we wanted to kind of share this. We wanted to share this because we are Filipino-Americans. We kind of, sit on
We're
both
like the
sides.
in-between.
Yeah, we sit on both sides. We're both Filipinos and Americans, so we
We're trying to be
appreciate the needs of the international 18s who want to be included in these discussions, because it says when they say atin lang, this is
for
just between us. It's for 18.
18.
It's for them and the 18.
Yeah.
Not just the
Not just
18
Filipinos,
that can
yes,
understand
yes.
Filipino, but the others.
Yeah, so hopefully you join the conversation too. And yeah, let us know what you think too.
Yeah, let us know what you think.
Thank you for joining us again today.
Bye.
Bye. I love it when Ken laughs. He's like a kid.
Oh,
His is my favorite laugh.
did you notice like somewhere at the end of the video he just pulls out his feet and just
Yeah.